Alright guys, so we're going to be turning right here. Hand signals, this is stop, this is right, this is left. So there's a nice tight group guys, we're in a bit of a line here, you want to blob off a little bit. Taking the whole way.
It's so hard getting from
Alright then guys, quick review. Green means go, red means
Stop.
yeah, you'd be amazed. People want to stay with the group. There's no rush today guys. Please stop at red lights. There is no rush. You are all good. I know where you are. I will wait for you.
Okay.
Doing turning right.
Oh my god, they got lights. That is so weird.
Be nice and friendly. You can let her go.
What? Yay! I did not know that. I wish I had a bell. Bell. They don't want to see bell.
We've been umming and ahhing about that. We came to the conclusion that we'd actually end up annoying more people.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. I'll just pretend.
I'm sure you can shout pretty loud.
Oh, what is it? Get it right. Oh, now we're being off-road here. Every time I go to like put my foot back on the seat,
Alright guys, taking that next left over there, that's a right and an immediate left. I'm going to pull forward and look for a gap from there. Good guys. We're in the right hand lane, guys to my right.
working on that.
Here guys, going forward into the park, onto the curb on the right hand side, forward into the park, onto the curb. Small dog. Hello. Do not dominate children or small dogs. Well, that's another one.
It's an exception to the dominate rule.
Are you meant to be dropping these blue things?
Oh, that's interesting. How did they manage to escape?
What?
That's very interesting. They managed to escape my bag, yeah?
Oh, brilliant.
They're not important, but...
I did my hand here that phone. Where? Oh,
You
it's
can
fluffy.
see the hole in the bag where they are currently appearing from.
Oh yeah.
That is a nasty hole. Thank you very much for pointing that out.
What are they?
Right, then, forgive me, I'm just going to put everything in the other bag, because otherwise I'm going to lose stuff slowly. Okay. Cuidado. Right in the middle. Okay. Alright guys, first stop, first question, any problems with the bikes? All good?
Yep.
Excellent.
They steer it now, so it's alright.
Good. what?
Yeah, I started off, always landed in the car.
Alright, good, okay. So guys, the very obvious thing from here is the Eiffel Tower, but don't you worry, that could be our last stop today. We're going to have the perfect Eiffel Tower photo opportunity. Here I'd like to introduce this building on the other side. We start a theme of unimaginative French names. It's a school for the military, so what's it called?
Military school.
There we go, I call it military school, nice. This was completed in 1760 by Louis XV. Now Wikipedia very generously translates Louis XV's name, Le Bien Aimé, as the beloved. However, it translates better as the well-loved, because he had over 300 official mistresses.
Ooh.
Just the official ones. How do you keep 300 official mistresses in line? You have a chief mistress, and his chief mistress was called Madame Poisson. Anybody speak a little French? Poisson? Fish, there we go, Miss Fish, very nice. Understandably, he was not a huge fan of his name, so she renamed herself Madame du Pompadour. She was very unpopular with royalty and the aristocracy for meddling in their affairs. She persuaded Louis XV to build this. Now, Louis XV was wildly unpopular, for a good reason. He was the party king, he spent all of the money on himself, and none of it on his people. So she said, let's build a military school for poor, noble families. Families who normally wouldn't be able to afford military school. The prime example of this being Napoleon Bonaparte. He came here at 15 years old, did a 2-year course in 1 year, graduating at 16, a lieutenant in the army in charge of over 100 men. Napoleon constantly makes me feel lazy and underachieved. The amount of stuff that he got done in his lifetime is absolutely ludicrous. We'll talk more about him as we go on today. Now, if you guys have amazing eyesight, you may see some bullet holes in the front of this building. If not, we'll get closer in a second. You'll also notice that Paris in general is in fantastic condition compared to a lot of the other cities you guys are visiting on your whirlwind tour of Europe. Now, this is all down to a very interesting anti-hero figure, a guy called General von Schultz. Now, von Schultz was the Nazi general in charge of Paris during the occupation of World War II, and he loved Paris. So when Hitler gave him a direct order to burn Paris to the ground before surrendering, he disobeyed. There were dynamite charges laid all over town. All these beautiful buildings we're going to go see today, they were all supposed to be blown up. Von Schultz made sure these explosive charges did not go off, and he saved Paris. Thanks to him, we still have this beautiful city we're going to go out and see today. Now, with the bullet holes, when the Allies arrived, they didn't want to bomb this building with the Nazis inside. So they simply lined up their riflemen along the front here and shot the front of the building. Do you think it worked? No. They had to storm through the front door, very bloody battle. Nonetheless, this building has been saved, as has the whole of Paris. Now, on the other side, we've got the Champs de Mars, the fields of Mars, and Mars is the Roman god of war. Good. The fields of war. Now, this building in this park was built way out in the middle of nowhere. Now we're in the middle of Paris, but we used to be in the middle of nothing, so they could practice formation and military tactics here. In 2000, it completed this grey pillar and glass structure in the front here. It's the Wall of Peace. The Wall of Peace in the middle of the fields of war. The symbolism being quite obvious. It's got peace written in 49 languages across it. However, do you like it? Do you think it's pretty? No. Now, we're going to go see 3 bastards of Paris. 3 buildings the Parisians absolutely detest. This is the first one. I can kind of understand with this one. It doesn't quite fit with the local architecture.
No.
It looks incomplete. The idea being they'll complete it with a roof which peace is finally realised. Oh. Now, you will notice that I just smash this up every now and again. Bottom right hand panel being missing. And this is not the first time. The last time was the top left hand panel on Bastille Day 2 years ago. What does Bastille Day celebrate?
French independence.
Yeah, effectively, yeah. It's the storming of the Bastille, start of the French Revolution. I'll talk more about this as we go on today. Nowadays though, July 14th Bastille Day is the biggest party of the year. Thousands of people come right down here to the park, everyone gets drunk, massive fireworks display behind them. However, 2 years ago, one Frenchman expressed his hatred for this building with this beer. He threw it through the wall of peace. He asked the original artist to fix it. He said it was symbolic that peace is fragile. However, he obviously came, because he ran out of cash last year, he came to pick up his commission. His bottom right hand panel's been smashed up for about 4 months now. I'm sure he'll come to pick up his commission. Last thing I'll tell you here, guys, this building is still a sense of a higher level military learning, so it's not open to the public. I did see a lady coming out of the cavalry wing the other day in very tight trousers and a whip. I hope she had something to do with her education process. Any questions? I'm here for you guys today. You want photos in front of any of these places? You've got questions? Please ask us. So we're going to head in this direction over here. Photo bomb me, guys. Gap, and then going all the way, turning left on the other side. Right to play, don't let French push you there. Stop here for a second, turning left, guys, I'll be with you in a second. Let me go. Turning left on the road. Right hand side on the road, turning left, guys. Carry on through, I'll be with you in a second. Just going to stop this way. Cool, alright. So that's the one, guys. Single fire, right hand side. Straight on. Guys, would you like an alcohol stop? There's a little shop, they do snacks, drinks, etc.
Alcohol shop?
Snacks, drinks.
I'm not fussed.
Good, that's a good reaction. That's what I'm looking for. Right then guys, so we continue our theme of unimaginative French names. It's a church, it has a dome. What's it called?
Dome Church.
There we go, Église de Dome, Church of the Dome, Dome Church, nice and easy. This was completed in 1676 by Louis XIV. Now, Louis XIV was made king at 5 years old, so that made his ego quite large, did it not? And as any egotistic maniac may say at some point in their lives, I don't have my own personal church. I'd like one. So we had this built just for him. He looked at the outside, he said, beautiful, I love it, it's great. And he walked inside and looked up. On the inside of the dome are beautiful hand-painted murals all the way across. He said, they're very nice, but they're too far away. Can you lower the dome for me? How do you lower a dome, guys? Any ideas?
Take that wing down.
Exactly, it's quite destructive. Is there a way of cheating?
Not back then.
You build a fake dome on the inside. The top set of windows now opens into a space you can no longer see from the inside. The level of the balcony, they put in a fake dome. They got the original artist to come back and painstakingly redo. Oh, you just dropped something there. Might not be important. Painstakingly redid all of his murals. Now, you would think Louis XIV would be very appreciative of all of this effort. In his 72-year reign, how many times do you think he used this church?
None.
You get the idea. 4 times in 72 years. Now, the French Revolution comes around, and there are 2 things they hate: the church and the royalty. So they definitely don't appreciate a church for the royalty. They took it over, it became a temple of reason, very much in disuse and disrepair for 50 years, until 1840 they buried the most famous Frenchman here. Who's the most famous Frenchman? Exactly, Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, Napoleon actually died in 1821 and wanted to be buried by the Seine, the river. Nonetheless, 19 years after his death, we dug him up and brought him over here. He's right in the centre in a Russian doll type tomb, 6 tombs with inside one another. The idea being they wanted to make sure he couldn't get back out. He is below the ground floor but above the basement. So either you have to bow to Napoleon or gaze upwards at him. Now, Hitler was a massive Napoleon fan. So when Hitler came to town, he really wanted to see this, and afterwards he said it was the best day of his whole campaign. However, I am talking about large egos today, and Hitler did not want to bow. So, Hitler had some mirrors installed at a 45-degree angle so he could view Napoleon's tomb without having to. There's a very dubious story surrounding this, I really doubt its authenticity, which is that winds blew Hitler's hat off, he swooped to catch his hat, and inadvertently did the most extravagant bow he could have possibly done. Now, as I just said, I really don't think the story is true. As Napoleon himself said, history is just a set of lies agreed upon. It's a nice quote. So it's time for my real gold or fake gold game. What do you guys reckon? Real or fake?
Yeah, real.
Real gold. Now, it was built in 1676 without gold. 1715, death of Louis XIV, they put gold on. French Revolution comes around, they steal all the gold off. So in 1989, they put 14 kilograms of gold on this roof. Now, how do you pay for 14 kilograms of gold? Where's the money come from?
Assets. Assets.
Assets, that'd be nice, but... Taxes, there we go. But they didn't want to tax everybody in France or even everybody in Paris. So if in 1989 you were unlucky enough to live here, you paid for this gold. There's a one-time only gold tax for the residents of the 7th district of Paris. So be careful where you guys live. Now let's have a quick chat about Napoleon. Very interesting man. As I said, 16 graduated from military school, 26 head of the army, 31st consul, the most powerful man in the entire country. However, never satisfied, always pushing for more Napoleon. At 35, he crowned himself emperor for life. After a very boring 2-hour speech by the Pope in Notre Dame, Napoleon gets impatient, grabs the crown from the Pope, puts the crown on his own head, saying, if I crown myself, no one can take it away from me. Not satisfied with that, he invades Russia, which is a bad idea. He'd done very well until then, but Napoleon left with 480,000 men. He returned from the Russian winter disgraced with 15,000 men. He was cast out, exiled to St. Elba, and given a very ceremonial position that he didn't take very ceremonially. In 10 months, he reforms his legislature, creates new laws, builds an education system, rebuilds the forts, creates a sewerage system, and finds out the British are going to come and kill him. So he comes back to France, but he's been exiled, so he's met by an army of very angry riflemen. Incredibly charming man, Napoleon. He said, I made France great once, and I would like to make France great again. And the army of angry riflemen said, come on back, Napoleon. They welcomed him back, reinstated for what's called the 100-Day Reign, at the end of which was his final defeat at the Battle of
Waterloo.
There we go. After that, exiled to St. Helena, where he dies of stomach ulcers or arsenic poisoning. We're not 100% sure. What we are 100% sure about is how tall he was. How tall was Napoleon? Go on, have a guess.
5'8".
Oh, you guys are going up, actually. He's 5'6.5", which was average height. He was not short, and he definitely was not short for his time. This is all down to us, the British. We wanted to paint Napoleon as a short and angry man. So we did so in cartoons, posters, propaganda, so successfully, we still have an image today of Napoleon as a short and angry man. Nonetheless, he was average height. So this is his final resting place, along with his son, 2 of his brothers, and some of his top military commanders. It is beautiful inside, light coming through stained glass windows, gold gilding. This is one of my top underrated sites of Paris. Now, as a special top deck story, I can tell you about the 2 things that went missing on the boat when his body was coming back from St. Helena. One of which was the rum. Now, they filled his body up with rum in a casket to maintain it. When it got to port, all the rum had mysteriously disappeared. Hence the phrase tapping the Admiral. You guys might have heard that for having a drink. The second thing that went missing was his penis.
Oh my god.
Absolutely. Now, his personal doctor thought it might be worth something, so he lopped it off, and it's been on the private auction houses ever since. It was last sold in 1998 to a private US collector for $3,000 US.
Someone bought it.
Someone bought it, absolutely. 1998, it's pretty recent. Now, I actually did some more research about this, although it's fascinating. So I actually found there are 4 people who currently claim to have Napoleon's original penis. Now, my question is not which one's his, but where do the other ones go? Any questions, guys? Cool. Well, you think it's a stunning day for
Do you
it.
know how much it was sold for?
3,000.